Hi, I'm Mark, and this is part two in a two-part series of introducing blues players into the world of jazz and playing over a jazzy blues, particularly playing over a walking bass line. So in part one, I taught kind of how to hear the chord changes from a walking bass line and how to play rhythm ideas over that. If you haven't checked out that lesson already and you can't do that already, then I would suggest you do lesson one first, because otherwise you're really going to struggle trying to play a solo over a walking bass line when you can't actually hear the chord changes. So go check out lesson one. But if you have heard lesson one, you followed that and you were able to play along with the chord changes, here I'll give you some ideas of how to solo over that. Okay, so the way the lesson's going to work, I'm going to play an example solo and then I'll break it down and show you all the licks one by one. So here's the solo. So that was the solo. Let me break down the licks now. Lick one goes like this. Okay, so it actually comes in on beat 3 of the counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then the note I'm playing is I'm sliding up on the A string to fret 7. Then I'm playing a D string, fret 4, D string, fret 7, and then hammering on 5 to 6 on the G string, and then hitting 7 on the D string. So nice and slow. And what you'll notice is when I'm playing the hammer on, I'm actually catching the B string slightly as well at the 5th fret. So that's the first part of lick 1. The second part of lick 1 goes like this. And what I'm playing here is 7th fret of the B string, 5th fret of the B string, 6 of the G, and finally landing on 7 on the D string. So this lick, when I'm playing it, I'm thinking A7. So you see I've got the notes there of A. And then I'm playing, again, just outlining that A chord. The point of this is I'm really trying to emphasize that major third, which is the C sharp on the 6th fret of the G string. And that's really important because when we go to the D chord, I'm going to be emphasizing the natural C, which is the 5th fret of the G string. So for the A, for the D, and that's the kind of movement I kind of want to emphasize. So the licks over the A are really going to hit that major third. So that was lick 1. Lick 2 now goes like this. And again, just emphasizing that A7 chord by emphasizing the major third there, and also ending on the 7th note, which is the G, which is the 8th fret of the B string. So the actual lick starts with the hammer on 5 to 6 on the G string before grabbing top E at the 5th fret. Then I'm playing 5 on the B to 7 on the B, back to 5 on the top E. So that part goes like this. And then the second part of it goes like this. And this is where we're kind of really emphasizing that A7. So I'm starting 8th fret, top E, slide up to the 9th fret. Again, there's that major third, really emphasizing that. Back to 5 on the top E, to 5 on the B, and then finally ending on 8 on the B string. So lick 2, nice and slow. So then now we're going to play over the D7 chord. I'm thinking that more of a D9, but it's that kind of chord. So far I've been emphasising that major third, that C sharp. Now I'm going to emphasise the C, which is the minor third of A, because that's the seventh of the D chord. So this lick goes like this. So really kind of anchoring off that C natural on the 5th fret. So the lick is basically 5th fret of the G to 7th fret of the D. I think we do that twice. And then we do 5th fret of the G to 7 on the G also, before finally playing 7, 5, 7 on the G. So the whole lick, nice and slow. Okay, so then the next lick, we're back to the A7 chord, and again we want to emphasize that C sharp. So we play hammer on from 5 to 6 on the G string, to 7 twice on the D string, and then we do the hammer on 5 to 6 on the G, and this time grab top E, 5th fret, and then end on the 8th fret of the B string. So this lick, nice and slow. Again, leading our ear that actually something's going to change. Now we're going to move to the E chord. So over the E7, I'm going to play this little piece, which is simply the starting on 8 on the B string, to 9 on the G, 7 on the G, 9 on the G, and then ending back where we started, 8 on the B string. And then we're going to play exactly the same little phrase, but we're just going to shift it down a note in the scale, and we're going to play this. So that is 5 on the B, 7 on the G, 5 on the G, back to 7 on the G. So we've actually played the same phrase over the E and the B. We've just shifted them down a note in the scale, in the pentatonic scale. And then finally we're going to play a little turnaround. So here I'm just emphasising walking from the major third, which is that C sharp, all the way up to the E here. So 6 to 9 on the G string, and I'm doing that kind of pedaling off the root note, which is this A, which is the 7th fret of the D string. So I'm starting by hammering on 5 to 6 on the G, before playing 7 on the D, and then playing 6 to 7 on the G string, back to 7 on the D. Then I'm playing, where are we? 8 on the G, 7 on the B, 8 on the G, 7 on the D, back to 8 on the G. And then finally ending on 9 on the G, which is the E note, which is the underlying chord. Okay, so the ideas in that solo are really that I'm emphasising the chord changes, and the things that's important over the A7 chord are going to be the C sharp and the G, which is the flat 7. And then effectively what I'm doing is when I'm going to either the D chord or the E chord, I'm kind of going to the minor, A minor, and emphasising that C note there. That's something that's quite common in jazz, that you use the melodies, what you're playing on guitar, to kind of emphasise what's going on in the underlying chord changes. So you get kind of a sophisticated sound, even though all you're actually doing is just picking out the important notes in the underlying chords. Hope you found that useful. Hope you found part 1 useful, and I'll see you again.